Welcome to the Guiding Brands podcast with your host and chief guide, Karen Vick. This is a podcast for service-based small businesses who want to get a handle on their marketing so they can attract and gain new customers. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Guiding Brands podcast, where we are all about helping small businesses succeed in marketing. And our goal is to bring you resources and tools that will equip you in your marketing journey. And one of the most important and valuable tools is your website. And today's guest will be sharing a popular website option, Wix, with us. And she's going to be dropping some knowledge that you can take away from this episode and implement in your business right away. Okay, valuable insights. And our guest is Karima Williams. Karima is the founder of Dreamworth and Company, which she founded in 2017. She hails from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, and I am just looking forward to this conversation. We've had the pleasure of working on a project together recently, and I've seen Karima's work up front. She is nothing short of a legend, and as her title says, she's a legend partner and Wix certified. Okay, she's launched over 100 websites on the Wix platform, and so she's more than qualified to educate us on how this platform can actually benefit you on in your business. In me doing my little research on her, I learned that Karima is a devout Christian who cherishes quality time with friends and family. I feel like I've known her for a very long time, although we've only been, familiar with each other for just a short period of time. But I can tell you that this is going to be an awesome conversation. So, Karima, if you will just add anything else that you want to what I just shared, if you want to
Yeah,
tell us a little bit more.
absolutely. Well, thank you again for having me on your podcast. I'm excited for our conversation. And for those who are listening, as Karen has already shared, I am a Wix expert. I love all things Wix. I do have a background in other platforms, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about that in our conversation. But I'm excited to be here and to share with you guys my expertise.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for that. So Karima, websites, not um, everybody hasn't been, trained on the proper use or the proper way to build our websites. No, not everybody is certified in Wix or other platforms for that matter. And clearly you have a passion for this. Can you share with us your journey to becoming a web designer? How did you land here?
Absolutely. So back in 2014, I used to intern with a professor at a college called Arcadia University here in a little of the suburbs outside of Philly. And he used to have a company outside of him being a professor where he allowed those who are recent graduates as well as those who are getting ready to graduate to kind of sort of get their skills and build their skills up within media and communications and public relations. He had a health and wellness type of business where a lot of us were either correspondents, doing TV shows like online with YouTube, and interviewing different health practitioners throughout the city and really getting our feet wet. He also had a conference that he did every year, a library management conference where he brought in different librarians, and he basically had the conference at the school Arcadia on campus, which was beautiful. From there, I was able to land through just working with him. I was able to land a full time position. Now, his thing is he was very well connected. And so I was able to land a position working with another graduate school up the street from Arcadia, just being their intern. And I kind of scaled up from being a marketing intern to being a coordinator to being the manager. So I was with the school for about 7 years.
Wow.
Within that time frame from 2014 to 2017, I said to myself, I really wanted to work with other organizations, work with other audiences more so to speak. I love marketing. And because it was a nonprofit, and I tell anybody this, if you want to, really get your feet wet into different things, working with nonprofits are the way to go because they do give you many hats, and you do get a lot of different roles. So working with the school, I was the website manager, the marketing intern, the graphics person, the photography person, the videography person, the public relations. But I wore a lot of many hats. And so with that, one of the things that I gravitated to the most was the graphic design and the website. And so with being the website manager, I was managing a WordPress website of 117 plus pages. It's a lot. It was a lot. And that, my friends, is why I ran to the hills, which is called Wix. And so I really wanted to get out of the audience of just, working with graduate students and those who are in acupuncture, integrative medicine. I really wanted to expand and work with other people. And so that prompted me to more so have a website. And so since then, since 2017, July 2017, I was doing website designs and doing everything under the sun. I think when a lot of people, when they started out as website designers, they probably was adding so many different things to their
Hmm.
organization, to their agency. I was doing logos, I was doing
Testify.
branding, I was doing flyers, I was doing business cards, I was doing all these different things. And at the time, I was called Dreamworth Public Relations, because my background from college was PR, concentration in PR. But starting from there, I kind of course, niched throughout the years, and I just more so scaled back on some things. Starting out with Wix, Squarespace, little WordPress, and I said, you know what, I want to stick to one platform. And then so around 2019 was when I really like honed in on Wix, and then around
Hmm.
2021 was when I really took it as my full time business.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Anybody going through art school or university in our field will appreciate this because the idea that you are able to be well-rounded
Yeah,
and learn so many skills on the job, in these internship roles and so on, is really key to being successful. I did something similar while a student at the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. But yeah, so you come with a lot, to this business of web design. So why, you mentioned, yeah, you were building websites on WordPress, and there are some out there that will say that, they'll look at us who build on other platforms outside of WordPress that we're not great. We're not the true web designers if we're not building on WordPress. I've heard that so many times, because
same.
I actually do build on WordPress as well, but it's not the primary tool that we use for building websites. We build most of our websites on Squarespace. So you've come across the same argument, I'm sure. So what made you? What made? I know I have my reasons, for saying that WordPress is not the best for every business.
Right.
And, there are small businesses out there, and there's so many reasons why I made that decision. What made you decide that, what, I'm just going to stick with Wix? What
You
was
know
it
what?
about
So
Wix?
it's clear as day. Working with the graduate school and managing a 117-page website in WordPress. My many frustrations is two of them out of the many. My One of my main frustrations was the fact that a lot of the site is based on plugins. And so it's a lot of plugins that went into managing a graduate school site, right? And so with that, when you have plugins and you're familiar, when you have plugins, those plugins you can either update those manually or they can auto update. Now, the issue that I've come across multiple times throughout a year was that when one plugin out of like maybe let's say 50 updates, it then messes up another plugin on the site and then the site looks weird. And then I have other departments like, hey, Karima, this page looks weird. What's going on? And that just often put fear and stress on me because now I'm like, I don't know what to do. I felt inadequate. I felt like stress and taking on the stress of others. And then also, there was no one, in a sense, because WordPress is kind of like a
It's
company where you
open
don't really
source.
have there's no customer service. It's
Right.
more so you have to find someone who's more experienced than you to help bring you on, or the person who, owns the plugin. In that sense, it was highly frustrating. And so over the
Hmm.
years working with the school, I've learned that when that kind of thing happens, the kind of sort of like rule of thumb is to just turn off all the plugins and then go one by one to see which one was the culprit. And that was highly annoying.
Yes.
Highly annoying.
Yes.
Not to
Hmm.
mention that there's no clear customer service with WordPress.
Right.
It's kind of like as if you are trying to talk to Mr. Big or from what's it called, Charlie's Angels, and it's just like it's a voice out there. You don't know you don't know who's a part of WordPress. You just know that there's someone out there that owns this company. And so that, in a sense, was my frustrations. It was not intuitive for smaller businesses.
Hmm.
Definitely a powerhouse for larger companies, of course. Like if you are
Exactly.
a school in a sense, I get that. But for smaller businesses that I wanted to work with, that I really wanted to work with on a smaller scale, small but medium and mighty, I would say, was not. I knew for sure my frustrations. I didn't want to put that on my clients. And one of the things that I went into making it very fervent for me when doing website design on my own and now acquiring clients was that I was very passionate in making sure that my clients felt as though they knew how to manage their website moving forward. I always tell my clients, I'm not trying to gatekeep and I'm not trying to penny pinch. I want to make sure that whatever I design for you, afterwards you have full access. A lot of my experience and my fears was I had this website, 117 pages. I really learned as I went. Nobody really taught me how to manage the WordPress website. There wasn't really someone at the school who taught me how to do website design. That was me learning on YouTube and Google
Hmm.
and being able to learn those things. And it was a lot. And not having someone or not, and even when you did want to hire or get someone's support, it was like, of course, there's a fee to that.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's
Yeah.
something so small. I'm very much so a sponge at the time. I'm like, I want to learn how to do this. How do I do this? And there's no videos on YouTube. And it's just like you hire someone and it's just like you're penny pinching.
Yeah.
So my goal was to make sure my clients knew I'm designing this website, but I'm going to train you on how to manage it moving forward. That way, you know. And if you do decide to come back to me for additional support, that's fine. But I want to make sure that you are not like every little small little task. You're like, oh, I got to call Karima and she's going to charge me. I want you to feel comfortable and confident moving forward.
Right. And, if someone's starting out, marketing costs are limited, and with WordPress, what I found was that these updates were unexpected. It's not like
Yeah.
they were planned. And
No.
then the platform itself, WordPress itself, would go through updates itself that can actually break your website. And then there's the security risk, the security factor. And so, yeah, so I I feel your pain, and I understand fully why you went in that direction. So, what about Wix itself? You talked about the things that WordPress did that is frustrating. If you could you just give us a lay of the land?
Yeah.
Why Wix? Why Wix?
Absolutely. Well, for
Hmm.
one, Wix is drag and drop friendly. So that really attracted me that I was able to move elements freely in the platform. And it was very different from WordPress, where it's like on the back end, you edit these things and then you hit publish and you hope that it looks good in the theme. Unless you have a plugin that is drag and drop friendly onto the site. And that could also just be my experience with WordPress, not really knowing what plugins or what themes to use. But I was working with the site, with the school site. But with Wix, it was very much so front end design capability. You design it as you see it. So if you
Hmm.
want to move an element, it is going to is moving, and you hit publish, and it looks exactly how you saw it when you were in the editor, which I love the most. And then also Wix just came with a lot of free tools that were Wix based that allowed me to kind of sort of say, oh, I don't need that. I don't need to use this third party. I can use this. I don't, and it was really like a, you can just literally use this platform as an all-in-one. And
Mhm.
so that's what I really gravitated to with Wix, the drag and drop features, and the ease and how they guided you through certain things to make it very easy for you to get your website up and running. And I haven't had any issues with my site, in a sense, being down or something messing it up to make my site look crazy, in comparison to WordPress.
Well, all of that I get, I understand. You know, in my world, working with Squarespace, I experienced similar things. But so with Wix, and for the audience, we're using some insider language here when we talk about drag and drop and so
Yeah,
on. And when I started many moons ago, um, you know, website design was all manual. It was HTML. You're
yeah,
designing and coding, hard coding pages. If you had 100-page website, and you had an element, a piece of text or graphic or something on every single page, you'd have to edit every single page one at a time. So what these platforms allow us, for the audience's sake, someone may be listening who um, isn't familiar with this. These, back in the day, we call them dynamic websites that were driven by database. So you're not having to make changes, one page at a time across 100-page website. You could actually literally set certain features or sections of the website where, you make the change once and it populates across the entire website. And then, not having to hand code everything. These tools, these platforms like Wix allow you to, as Karima described, create and design what you want on your web page, and see it live right away, as opposed to, you know creating some code and then hoping that it will, show up on the other end. Not that you would entirely do that in WordPress, but it's still a steep learning curve too, for the average business person who doesn't, isn't trained in marketing, who's not going to sit there or have the time to sit there and, learn a difficult platform, so yeah, okay, I can appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to add something to that?
No,
No? Okay. So, one of the other features of the Wix platform is the fact that you can actually, rather than start from a blank page, you can start with templates.
that's right.
And often, there are those people who will say that, you're not a true designer if you're starting from a template. But guess what? We have small businesses out there that cannot afford to have a custom made website starting from scratch for them. And the most economic way is to actually start with a template that you can then customize and
That's
you
right.
can personalize for that user. So, do you have any tips on how a listener can actually select the ideal template for their work, for their website?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the beautiful thing is that Wix has different categories. When you're starting out, when you go to just Wix.com, they'll ask you what category, what business you're interested in. And they already kind of sort of categorize their templates based on different industries. So whether you are a photographer, whether you are a business consultant, whether you are a bakery, that kind of thing. And they already have templates that are geared towards those industries, right? And so the idea is it's kind of a lot of times, and you can attest to this, a lot of
Mhm.
times when people try to DIY, when business owners try to DIY their websites with little or no design experience, they design based on how they feel, how they see things, and what they want to see on their website. But with us as designers, and even when you get a template, it's already structured in a sense to what's the best way to for you to attract your ideal client, right? So in some cases, you want, if you are a baker, you want pretty little graphics of cupcakes and stuff around on the homepage or in the hero section, or you want a big photo of yourself, or you're uploading images that are very grainy, right?
Mhm.
And so your images are photos and they have shadows, and you've taken these photos of your cupcakes on your phone, and the quality is terrible. And so when you're looking at these templates, you're able to see that they're using stock images. They're kind of sort of painting the picture. There's a reason why most hero sections have faces, and the faces are looking directly to you, because you obviously want to attract people, if you are a people facing business. Or after the hero section is a opt-in section for people to get a free lead magnet, and then after that it's an about. There's structural things, that's is one of the reasons why it's great to get a template, because that template is already set up structurally, to help you be successful for your business. So all you have to do is, in a sense, plug and play. I myself, I offer templates as well that are already customized outside of the Wix ones, but add a little bit more design, in a sense,
Hmm.
and specific to certain industries that I think that I track within my business, that I know maybe they can't afford the full custom, but you still want my design, you still want my design eye, but you want at a fraction of the price. And you want to
Hmm.
obviously be able to still get my experience and my support, but at a fraction of the price. So I do restyle templates. I have now templates on my website that are strictly restyle only. So when you purchase it, you're already getting it. Doesn't You're getting my level of expertise in restyling, but just at a fraction.
Okay. So you can also use the templates out of the box or get them restyled, as you
Hmm.
said.
Yeah, you.
Okay.
Well, I don't do the DIY option anymore, so it's
Okay.
simply you just get it restyled.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
but if you
Okay.
go directly through Wix, of course you can restyle, you can edit their templates. But if you
Hmm.
specifically come to my store or my website, you're getting it automatically. You're getting it restyled by me if you go to template
Okay.
option.
So what about, okay, I'm a small business owner and I choose a template. I see a template that looks good, but it's not branded for my business. There's no, like, my logo, the colors that I use or want to use. I don't see them. What do you do? What would a small business owner do in that sense?
So the beautiful thing is, within Wix, you can edit all those things, and you can edit them if you go in through the Wix side, the marketplace of when you start your site. They have the editor when you go in to edit the site, and it can be a lot for small business owners. But they have an editor where you're able to edit just universally the colors and your typography. And you can upload, you can change your colors out, you can change the typography, the text, all those different things. If you want Arial as your main text, you can make it Arial. If you want Times New Roman, if you want Play Fair, if you want something else, you can make it your own. You can literally go in and restructure all of the colors, all of the fonts, upload different images that fit your branding.
Wonderful. Okay. So there you have it. It's an easy path to getting a website, easier than you going off and trying to create something on a platform that, yeah, it's a little cumbersome, but you can start by just selecting a template and then, easily updating content and so on. Yes. Yes,
I will
Karima.
say also one more thing that gravitated to me to Wix was the fact that Wix guides you through literally the best steps in how to make sure, again, how to make sure your website is set up for success. What do I mean by that? It goes beyond the pretty setup. It goes beyond the pretty images, but from a I want to make sure your website is seen across the world. It guides you through, once your site is ready to go live, it takes you through certain steps. Now we have to make sure you have a hosting plan so that your site is hosted on Wix. You get your hosting plan. We connect your domain. Your domain is connected. It then walks you through their own SEO setup. So making sure that your website is optimized for search engines such as Google and Bing. With that, it's asking you specific keywords that you want to rank for. And then it guides you through how those keywords are supposed to be on your site, right? So if you say that these 5 keywords are what you're looking to rank for, Wix is going to then say you need to have this keyword in your title tag. Your title tag needs to have something like this. Your description, your
Mhm.
meta description needs to have something. It takes you through all of those technical things that even if you're not that tech savvy, you can still follow the basic setup of the SEO checklist. The checklist includes making sure alt text is added to your images. And then there's a little blurb to explain to you what alt text is, all those things. And then it finally says, okay, great, you did all of these things, boom, boom, boom. Now let's connect you to the Google Search Console, which allows you to then not only show up in Google search results, but see what keywords are attracting people to your website on Google. So it's a really good platform that really helps you to set up your business and to make sure that you're is doing the heavy work for you. If you're not very
Okay.
savvy with marketing and you just want to make sure that people know about you and that you have that credibility, it does set you up for success in that way.
Okay. So it guides you. It's like a helper along the
Hmm.
way, start from A to Z. Sounds okay. Okay. I don't know a whole lot about Wix, so you're educating me as well. So there are, I've been working over the last year and a half with small businesses, local small businesses through my local urban league. And many of the clients that come through to us, they actually have websites built on the Wix platform. So I see that a lot. But then I also see that there are challenges, and they're challenged because it's them doing it themselves. um, as a designer, I can anticipate and address some of those issues that they have as well, that they'll have. What are some of the things that you see as from people that are using Wix? I'm sure you've had people come to you and say, listen, I have my website on Wix, but it's it it doesn't look right, or it's not working the way that I want it to. What are some of the pitfalls that you see, small businesses, falling into when it comes to designing their websites on Wix?
I see a lot of folks, and this is just from a design standpoint. We'll tackle design and then back in shortly. So with design, I see a lot of folks when I go to their websites, they have everything in their navigation, everything under the sun. So that's one thing I say. You got to clean up this navigation. Even though, and their thing is because someone goes to their website and they see that they don't see something. And so normally, naturally, people just think, I need to put this in the navigation so that people can see it.
Hmm.
Another thing is I see people that do not, when they DIY their site on Wix, because Wix is, connecting more people to just DIY it very easily. They're not sticking to the template, or they're not choosing the right template for themselves. And so with that, they're adding, when they go to add images, they're adding images as the background color, or they're using different things. So there's a misunderstanding, not from a website design perspective, but a branding, right? I think that it
Hmm.
goes back to the foundational thing of your brand. Because when I see a lot of times, I see people that have multiple colors throughout their site, no clear call to action. Everything is there. It's a lot of text. Some text is small, some text is big, some text is cursive, some text is bold. And so they don't really have an idea as to, how to set things up. It's just more so of a go to my website, see what I have, and then, and even when I talk to folks and I'm like, well, where does your clients come from? And where do they go on your website? Are they coming to your website? And they're like, no, they're not going to my website. I show it to them, but so then how do they convert? Oh, they'll send me an email or they'll DM me on social media. And I explain to people, your website should be doing that for you. A lot of
Hmm.
the systems and tools, you just have to know how to structure and how to set up. And that goes with just showing you where these things are and how to go about it within your business. So when I talk to people and they're like, oh, I've been, I've people DM me and then they see my website and they just DM me, and then I just communicate via DM or I communicate via email, and then I'll send them a invoice through my Square, and then I'll send them a contract through here, and then I'll get work started with them. And I'm like, your website, how much are you paying for your website, your Wix website? Are you paying monthly? Are you paying yearly? I'm paying a monthly cost. Then you have access to all of these different tools in the back end as well, right? So you can send invoicing if you're on the right plan. You can send invoicing, right? You can send invoices. You can even send price quotes. You can even do proposals. It's just a matter of
Mm.
getting people to kind of sort of figure out what their structure is, what their
What
own
your
SOP
needs are.
is,
Hmm.
and understanding that to systemize that. A lot of people don't systemize. And so that's a thing of just educating them on that. So, what is the
Mhm.
ideal way of when someone wants to work with you as a photographer? What is the ideal way you want them to convert? I want them to go to my website. I want them to see my portfolio. I want them to book a call with me. Okay, if you want them to book a call, you want them to fill out a form. Because on your website right now, you have a form and it's very generic. And I see that a lot too. The form is first name, last name. They don't customize too much when it comes to certain form fields. And I'm like, you can customize these form fields. So it's, just standard first name, last name, email, message. And that works for them. But I'm like, no, you can either connect the form or you can have a booking option, which Wix has the online booking. So you can actually collect calls and get people to do consults. And then from there, what do you want them to do? After the consult, how does that typically? So I'm literally walking them through the
Mhm.
process of how it takes a person from website visitor to client. And then I'm
Right.
showing them and I'm building it out to make sure that all makes sense within their website, because you can do it all within your website. You just have to make sure that you're systemizing it.
hmm So it's about streamlining your process, not
Exactly.
having multiple tools. I had a conversation with a client last night about that, a similar thing, having um, email marketing and using spreadsheets and doing all of this manual work
Yeah,
when the tools exist to actually help you with automating and streamlining these processes. So you're saying that all these features are built within the Wix platform, and you're not having to go out and use five different tools to do what this one platform can actually take care of for you.
yeah.
All right.
I think with a lot of people, to go back to the question of like what pitfalls is, that they want everything to be very glowy, very shiny, very glittery,
Mm.
very, I want this to look high end. I want this to look luxurious. And so we see a lot of black, white, and gold sites, um, in that sense, or they want things to be very much so in the forefront of people's faces, but there's no structure. And so that's the
Mhm.
main thing of making sure that there's a structure, there's a structural element that really allows that kind of sort of guides the website visitor through the site. You have to assume that when someone comes to your website, they don't know what to do. And so if there's
Mhm.
no clear call to action, I'm not going to do anything. You know, I'm just going to look and I'm going to click off. And so helping clients to really focus on not just the design but the structure of everything is important.
And to your point about structure, I want to clarify this for the audience too. Some people out there that may not understand what this means. It essentially means is having a plan, a clear plan ahead before you even start building your website. You should know what pages you want on your website. How are people going to communicate with you? Is it that you just want them to call you? You're going to just have your phone number on the website? Do you want them to fill out a form? What happens after the form is completed? All of these things you need to have in mind before you start building the website. And once you've done that, we use something called a site map. The site map is like a flow chart to actually map out the path that people can potentially take through your website so that you don't end up with roadblocks. So for instance, you can click a button on a web page, land on this web page, and cannot tell how to get back to where you were, things like that, or there are no navigational links on this web page that you've clicked through to. How did that happen? And it happened because there was no thought as to, what should be on every single page of the website. And then from there, we have to look at the structure of the pages itself. What content will be shown first, second, third, and so on. And that's what Karima is referencing when she talks about structure. It's like I liken it to going to a supermarket.
Yeah,
You go to the supermarket, and if there are no aisle signs to tell you where the milk is or the rice, you're just going to be wandering around the supermarket. And then you do the same thing. Your customers will come to your website and they'll be wandering around, and they're going to leave. They're not going to take any action because it's not clear where you want them to go, what you want them to do, and even how to navigate. So having all of your links, every single page or everything that you could think of in the main navigation and the links at the top of your web page, that's poor structure. So that's what Karima is referencing. So yeah. So all right. So from there, now we know it takes thought. A little bit of thought needs to go into what it is that you want to have on the website, um, the way that it functions, so that people can stay on the website and consume the content that you have on the website. You know, um, what what are there any quick things or tips that you could give someone who already has a website right now and they're not getting any leads?
Yeah,
The phone isn't ringing, or their contact form, they're not getting any form submissions. What are some of the things that you think would help? And I know it could be any number of things. It could be poor call to action. It could be all kinds of things. But
yeah.
what are the most common things that you think can help? Or if you could pick three
Yeah.
things.
I think that first, the one thing is I'm a very analytics person, right? First things first, I want to look and see. So in Wix, you can easily go into your marketing and analytics and see over the course of a period of time from 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, where has most of your traffic been coming from and where has it been going? And then 9 times out of 10, you can see the culprit. So if a lot of people are coming to your homepage, you need to focus on the homepage. And then a couple things could just be maybe updating some images, right? Google doesn't know, Google's pushed your site all the way down the totem pole, all the way down to page 8, right? But if you have constant refreshed content on your website, whether it be a blog, whether it be updated images, that may also heighten and get you some more traffic. I will also say that if you are someone who you want to get new leads, or you want to get some traffic back to your website, I think one of the best things to do in your case, if you are a small business, in Wix you can send up to for free your first 200 emails, right? So if you have in your list, in your contacts list, let's say you only have 50 contacts, that means you can send up to 4 emails because you have 50 contacts. If you have 100, you can send up to 2. So looking at that number, how many contacts do you have through your website? I personally, if I'm looking to, and I've gotten clients in the past, and they just haven't been coming back. It's always easier to reconnect with past clients than getting new clients. Because with new clients, you have to kind of sort of give them that like, know, and trust factor. They have to build a rapport with you. But a past client already knows your work, already experienced and worked with you, and so they may just need a refresh. So I would, and since we are in the coming towards the end of the year, I would send out a email. I would send out two. I would send out an email specifically to the entire list, right? If I'm able to, within that 200, and that's a free email. So if I have 50 people on my email list, I will send out an email letting them know, just doing a nice, like, hey, check in. This is what I have coming on within the next few months, or hey, I just want to reconnect with you. And in that email, do a call to action for people to jump on a call with me, right? Maybe just like a, hey, how's things been going with your website? Or, hey, this is what I have coming up through the pipeline. Out of that 50, let's say only 30 people open, right? So then I would take it one step further and only send a second email to those people who open because clearly they're interested. And then
Right.
so going from there, and then if I want to, optionally, I can then take it a step further and just retarget those folks who clicked the email. But I think a two-part email, one just send out to the list just to restart that
Introduce.
conversation
Hmm.
and let them know, hey, I'm still around, I'm still a business. And then those folks who do open, send them an email out, and resend an email out to those folks who opened, really like honing in on, the call to action of getting on a call with me. I really want to talk to you about all these different things. Definitely jump on the call with me. So being a little bit more aggressive in that sense, but those folks they are already, they've already shown interest and going from there. Email marketing is a very powerful tool. I love it for sure, and I use it heavily in my business as well as social media marketing. So that even in that sense, that's a free option, and you can do that straight through your Wix website.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's a great tool that I wasn't even aware of. I didn't know that Wix had this capability. So there you have it. You know, this thing is a it's like your whole marketing um, toolbox all in one, if you
Yeah.
will, you know, so you can send your email to email marketing through this. Okay. Awesome. So, having done over 100, Wix websites and helped so many people, is there a favorite site you've done? Is there one that you would want to talk to us about, share with our
Ooh,
audience?
ooh, that is such a great question. Ooh,
Yeah,
this,
tell
this
us why it was your favorite. Was it because of the development or the end results? Yeah.
yeah, I think that, oh, that's such a great question. I would honestly say, yeah, I have a favorite website. I gotta think if it's honestly I have a couple, but one of my more favorite ones are is a website called Traditional Acupuncture Plus. I did it for
Hmm.
acupuncturists. And just the ease from start to finish, working with the client, they trusted me fully with the design. They were on, I think she was on WordPress or another platform, I forget, but I migrated her over to Wix. And very much so the full trust in the design, and then me educating on her on what her website can fully potentially be and how she can use it. And I put her on the newer editor, which is called Wix Studio, which is a little bit more advanced and fluid in a sense of allowing more animations, allowing more design capabilities for how your site looks on different screen sizes, whether a 27-inch Mac, a MacBook, a phone, a iPad, a tablet. I designed her site on there, and one of the things that I loved was I was very much so able to be very creative and really utilize a lot of my own desires within the site. And she's trusted me fully on structure and on. She just provided feedback on like, hey, can we use this image instead of this one, type
Hmm.
of thing. But it was a really good site, and it's actually in my portfolio.
Okay. So what were the challenges that she was having before? Why?
Yeah, so with before, she wasn't really utilizing her site. Her site was dated, was
Hmm.
outdated in a sense. The content imagery wasn't there, and she even trusted me with telling her, "Hey," in the beginning before we even started working with each other, I told her that she probably should get some images because in helping professions like acupuncture, people want to see, your work. They want to see what it looks like. A lot of people have misunderstandings of what acupuncture needles look like. And so you
Hmm.
showing that you have gentle hands, you're placing the needles in certain ways, and just showing that this is a friendly face, this is not a stern face, this is someone who looks like me, that kind of thing really goes a long way. So she trusted me. She took my recommendation of getting photos. Her photos came out beautifully. And I tell clients, I'm like,
Hmm.
photos is what I think one of the reasons why I really loved the project so much was because the photos got me excited as the designer and really helped carry out the rest of the design and my
Hmm.
ideas. And so her challenges was, of course, her site was dated, and it wasn't set up in a way where it was converting people. Yes, she had a link for where people can book their calls, but not more so placing her at the forefront of being an expert. She has a lot of years of experience as an acupuncturist and a Chinese herbal medicine herbalist. And so for that, it wasn't displayed very clearly on her website that she is someone who's very knowledgeable. And so with that, people, especially anything with health, I want to make sure that you are someone I can trust who has the knowledge, who's not just someone who just jumped out of college and went straight into your
Right.
profession. She has a lot of experience. And so incorporating a very clear blog on her site was very important. And then having her credentials, having other organizations that she's worked with in that sense that she's grown with over the years from, she's been doing this well over 10 years. So it's making sure that that information is on her website so that people know, and then so that Google also picks up these things. A lot of times what I see for people is that they have a lot of content, but it's not structured in the way that Google is able to recognize this as very informational content. When you have certain keywords that are on that people are searching for, Google will then say if it's informational, if it's transactional, if it's something that they're looking to purchase in that sense, or they're just looking for knowledge. And so a lot of times, people who have a lot of content on their site, it's very text heavy.
Right.
And sometimes most folks don't want to read all of that unless it's set up in a way in which makes sense. So some of our
Mm-hmm.
content we just moved into a blog. Like this will be perfect for a blog post. And in that sense, also Google picks it up and it's like, oh, this is informational content. I know who to send to this page and to this website.
Mm, okay. Okay. And what have the results been since launching the site? How long ago did you launch, by the way?
So for her, I'm drawing a blank. So it's now it's October. So we launched her, I want to say back in June, May or June.
Okay.
And since
Okay.
then, she has been getting a great amount of traffic to her site.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't checked in with her to see where she is because she does that not only not full time. She's also working with a school, so she
I
does that
see.
part time in a sense. But I'm excited. I'll actually go and see if I can check back and see how well her site is performing.
Okay. I'm
I'll go
sorry to
back
put you
and
on the spot there, but
yeah,
no, well, having a site that you can be proud of that
I will.
clearly people are actually interacting with is
Yeah,
a win,
I will also
Yes.
share one more story that's a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
on the successful side. A client of mine, I designed his site years ago on Wix, very, very beginner skill level, right? He's a
Okay.
business consultant. And before we did have his service pages very text heavy. Now, what I just shared with you guys and applying that in a sense to this client, I said we need to do a redesign. And one of the things is frustrations. And I love not only designing beautiful sites for clients, but also making sure that things structurally again make sense and that it makes them more money. And so for this client, 1990 Business Consulting, his website, like I said, a lot of text. And he was having clients who filled out his form, but they weren't completing it because it was long.
Mm,
It was a lot of information that they fill out. For them to fill it out, they stop, they don't pay, and they'll just come back later. And it's just like a very halt in the process of getting this client who's excited, who wants their LLC, who wants their S corp, and they're like, "Ugh, I got to fill out all this information." They weren't feeling it. So I realized that, and he said that on a call, and I said, okay, we productize his services. And for those who are listening, productization means taking a service and converting it into a product or a store, right? Into a product for his store. So all of his services I converted in his new site as products. And then even the information that he had regarding what a S corp, what a LLC was, we converted that from those service pages into blog posts, so that then he's also able to see, because Wix has a nice little tracker, you're able to see how many eyes you had on certain blog posts, how many views you've gotten. And then for the products, oh, he like it skyrocketed him because he as a
mm,
client is able to see, oh, I'm being very profitable, I'm making this money, versus it being a thing where on the back before it was a fill out the form, the person purchase, it was a lot more steps. Now being it
I see.
productized, it was shortened, right? The person went to the page, they purchased, then on the back end we asked them for their information, right?
Right.
It was I want to pay this because I know I need this, and then I'm able to fill out all the things that they want me to fill out now. So that worked
Nice.
out completely for him. It took him, within his first 90 days, he made well over like $50,000, and I was like, oh
Wow.
my god! And then in my little fee of the website redesign, I was like, oh, you made that back 10 times over.
There you go. Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's a great story.
Mhm.
And that goes to show, sometimes, DIYing or taking a website that was done professionally and then you adding your spin to it without any advice can sometimes hinder you,
Yes.
So if you see you started off doing well and then things started tapering off and then everything halted, there's got to be a reason for it. So, a person like Karima is a good person to talk to, about why this is happening and what can we do to solve it. And yeah, kudos to you. Kudos to you for that. Now, Karima, on this podcast, the Guiding Brands podcast, I am the chief guide, right? But I recruit guides, and every guest on the podcast, I call them a guide. So today, you being a guide, I would love for you to share just, one or two things that you think, people can actually take away from this lesson. You shared a lot in the conversation already that people can actually take away, but is there anything like new that's happening in the industry, or something that you've seen people doing and you just want to help them, anything that you want to share,
Yeah,
be the guide.
absolutely. I think that, and this is a timely question because as we shift gears into the last quarter of the year, I think
Mhm.
that as people start to kind of get ready for sales and for the holiday season, I think one of the things that in this time is best now to um, to start looking at the things that you want to place on sale. I think that sometimes people wait until the last minute. So if I can guide you to being proactive and not reactive, if I can encourage you to be proactive now, if you know for sure, because we as designers do not want to be stressed out, or some of us actually take off for the holidays, and so we
Yeah.
don't want to be boggled down with flyers, website updates and changes. So it's best now that we're entering into this last quarter next month, we're looking into heavily holiday season. Start being proactive now of what your plan is, what your goals are for whether it be Black Friday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all those different holidays, New Year's, all those different things. Start being proactive now and reaching out to your ideal website designer or marketing person or branding person if you want those changes, just to get those conversations started. You do not want to be on the reactive end trying to work your way back. You want to be proactive. If I can share that, that'd be helpful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so
Wonderful, wonderful, suggestion. Wonderful, that you're saying this. We're recording this for anybody listening in the future. This is October of 2024. So yes, we're heading into the holiday season, and we should be mindful about any campaigns that we want to run.
yes.
And wait till the last minute. So there you have it. Wix from our Wix expert, our Wix legend. I'm going to call you that. Karima, this was fantastic. You shared a whole lot. You taught me some things about Wix that I wasn't aware of, and may influenced me now to go take a look at Wix again. I looked at it years ago. So thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. And, maybe we'll do this again, sometime in the future. Maybe there's something else that we can expand on where this is concerned. Maybe go, take a deeper dive into Wix Studio so the audience can actually learn a little bit more. Maybe we do a live or something. So we'll see. All right. So
Great.
thank you again.
Thank
Thanks again.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks so much. All right. And there you have it, everyone. Our guest, Karima Williams, just shared quite a number of things with us regarding Wix. And I hope that you would go check out her website and everything else. And I'm going to ask her to actually share with us all the places that she can be found. And if she has it, Karima, if you have any like special offers, you're going into holiday season, if you have any special offers or anything like that that you want to share with the audience, please feel free to share.
Absolutely. So if you are looking to connect with me more, you can visit www.dreamworth, so DREAM worth.co, DREAM worth.co. Yes. And then Instagram, I'm heavily on Instagram. You can follow me there at dreamworth_co. You can also, being that you are a listener here for the Guiding Brands podcast, if you are interested in working with me, you can go ahead and also, I have, just for you guys as listeners, I have a 25% off of my website templates. So if you are interested in getting a website template restyled by yours truly, if you are on the Wix platform, all you have to use is the discount code, which will be Brands 2024. So all you have to do is enter that when you're ready to purchase, and you'll get 25% off of that website restyle template.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you so much, Karima. That's a great offer for our listeners. And I hope you all take advantage of this. And all of the links to Karima's social media accounts or website. All of that will be in the show notes. And again, thank you again for joining us today. And please don't forget to subscribe if you're a new listener to the podcast, a new viewer on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, and let us know, how you found this episode. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, is there something that you want to learn? Feel free to let us know. Thank you again. That's all for this episode of the Guiding Brands podcast. I look forward to sharing with you again next week. So please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Thank you and bye for now.